Okay, welcome back. So now you understood, right, how to integrate syslog devices, Linux, UX, iOS, or the devices which are hosted this platform. In this platform, will support syslog. Linux is one of the devices, right? Operating system, of course, it will support syslog, right? But again, separately, I'm telling you how to integrate Linux device because it's very popular, right? Majority of the company, everywhere you will see Linux. Windows and Linux very common, right? So in Windows, you need not to check, right, whether it's supported or not. In Linux, sorry. In Linux, you need not to check whether it's supported or not because it's very popular. Everywhere you will see, right? But if you want to check, you can check it also, but no need to check. All Linux like CentOS, Red Hat, Ubuntu, so say different type of Linux. There are more than 100 flavors of Linux. Yes or no? There are more than 100 flavors of Linux are available. Different ZT, Ericsson, different Ericsson, Huawei, different from other telecom companies are using this kind of Linux, right? So it's very difficult to get the document. Arcsight does not have document for all the Linux devices. Get in mind, if you have Red Hat or you have CentOS, Ubuntu, so say these are some of the popular Linux. You can check on the device support list also, and you can download the document as well. Get in mind. But here I'm training you, I'm giving the detail so that you should be able to integrate any kind of Linux flavor. I'm just telling you the common integration mechanism where you should be able to integrate any kind of Linux, whether it is there on the supported document or not. So you should be able to integrate, right? So any Linux device by default it supports syslog daemon connector. What connector it support? It supports syslog daemon connector. Any Linux device will support syslog daemon connector, default connector. Linux are having default syslog pin set, right? So it will support syslog daemon connector. So if anybody asks you how to integrate Linux devices, then first of all we have to install syslog daemon connector. But if syslog daemon connector is already installed, right? Then no need to install. We can integrate with existing Linux syslog daemon connector, right? Then again we'll check the connectivity, we'll check the port number. Yes or no, right? Which port number we have configured in the connector. Based on that, we have to configure the end device in order to forward them. Just simple, right? Yes or no? So now what happens is, now Linux having multiple flavors. Linux having many flavors, right? So now how will you configure port number and protocol on the Linux server in order to forward the logs? Because there are so many different Linux flavors are there, right? Get it in? So what you have to do is, there are three types of syslog. There are three types of syslog mechanism. Any flavor of Linux will have either one of these three types. There are three types of syslog. There are three types of syslog mechanism. First syslog mechanism. There are three types of syslog. One is syslog D. I have on the document I will be sharing with you. I will showing you now. Syslog. And third is syslog NG. There are three types of syslog, syslog D, syslog, and syslog NG, right? So the way of configuring the log forwarding is a bit different, a little bit different on all three, right? So any of syslog, any of the Linux, the device that you are going to integrate, 100 of flavors, right, will support syslog D or syslog syslog or syslog NG. Any one it will be available. Any one syslog type will be available. There are three types of syslog actually: syslog D, syslog, and syslog NG. Any of the Linux system or server will be having one type of syslog service available, either syslog D, syslog syslog, or syslog NG. Get it? If it is syslog D, then there is a proper mechanism to configure IP address protocol. If syslog syslog, then there is a way to configure. If syslog NG, then there is a way to configure. This. Linux uses file system. Right? Linux uses file. Every configuration that we do on the file. particular file will open and will do the configuration, right? So what I have done is I have created the document. You know what I'm saying? So now I have created a document how to configure and the Linux device to forward the logs, means how to configure the IP address, port number and protocol. I have created a document. So first of all, because 3 syslog type, I have 3 different mechanisms to configure the logs, right? So first of all, any Linux device that you are integrating, first of all, you check that whether it supports syslog D, Syslog or syslog NG. Never mind. You check that, log in the document, log in the device and check that which syslog it is supporting to, whether syslog D, Syslog or syslog NG. Then I explained if syslog D, then what kind of configuration has to be done, how to configure IP address, port number, protocol, syslog Syslog, how to configure syslog NG, how to configure it. Right? So we understand that in Linux we configure, do the configuration of the file, right? So for the syslog D, there is a file name called syslog.conf. The file name that you mentioned the configuration, right? That file name is syslog.conf. For Syslog, it's called syslog.conf. For syslog ng, syslog.ng.conf. That file is there. Get it, mind? Remember what I'm saying? Everybody is getting. So that file we will open and we'll do the configuration. We'll configure IP address, port number, protocol and save it. IP address, port number, protocol, save it. IP address, protocol and save it. Right? So configuration is slightly different for all different type of syslog. That's the reason. First of all, we'll identify which syslog it is running to, right? And we'll identify the file name, where it is that. I will open that file and enter the IP address, write the IP address, port number, protocol, save that file, and restart the particular syslog service. Right? Once you do that, your Linux device will start forwarding the connector, and we'll check on the logger and ESM logs are coming. That means integration successful. So let me show you the document. If you want me to do it practically, we can do it practically also. Let's see that document. Okay, so now you understand, right? For Linux devices, you know that syslog it will support syslog daemon connector. So if anybody asks you that how to integrate Linux device, then you check that Linux device by default in Arcsight supports syslog daemon connector. So we'll check whether syslog daemon connector is already installed or not installed. But it's not installed, then I'll be installing it and configure the port number and protocol. Which port number? We'll check it out. If there are any syslog daemon connector is already installed or other syslog connector is installed. So which port they have installed? If any free port, then I'll enter 42519, any port or more than 1024. I'll enter the port number protocol and install the connector. Now we'll check the connectivity port number, open and out on firewall, and now I'll send the log based link. That Linux configuration is called as log based document. This identification is called as log based document, right? So you will not have to do it. You can send that document to Linux team. They will check, identify, and we just configure this document as well as IP address, port number, and protocol. They will check which syslog it supports, and based on that, they will configure the port number, protocol, and IP address. Once they will configure, they will let us know. They will log on the logger and you can check whether it's supported or not, whether logs are not, logs are not going, troubleshooting. Then we may get into the call along with them for troubleshooting further. Understand? Yes or no? I'll be showing the document now.
So this syslog DR and all are on the device or on the connector?
No, though on the any Linux vendor that you have, let's say you have Ubuntu, you have CentOS, you have Red Hat, right? So these are syslog type. So any Linux device will have particular syslog type. Either that particular Linux will have Syslog or syslog D or syslog NG. Any one type of Linux they will have it. Okay. So on the Linux itself, we will check whether which kind of syslog they have.
So the reason to ask is, what is it? I mean, like the connector will be installed on the Linux server, right?
No, Linux or Windows, anything can be on Windows.
Correct. Also. So this we spoke about the syslog daemon connector, right?
Right.
Now, when you are talking about syslog D, is it the syslog of the operating system on which the connector is installed?
No. See, syslog type, there is syslog service. Syslog service. How particular device will forward the logs to the end syslog server, like connector, right? There are this kind of service. So different Linux may have different type of syslog service. Some Linux may be syslog D, some Linux will be Syslog, some Linux will be syslog NG. So based on that, how you configure the IP address port number protocol on the Linux side, slightly different configuration we have to do. Got in mind? So it's very important to identify first which kind of syslog they are running. Based on that, we can do the configure respect and accordingly. It's very important to identify which syslog they are running to. Yes or no? Right?
Correct, but the forward would happen from the device, right, to the connector.
From the device to connector, yes.
So the service should be run where? Should be run on the
Linux server, on the Linux end device.
Okay.
On the end device, the service is running anything.
Got that.
Syslog D or Syslog NG, anything.
Okay.
Let me show you the document. I hope you guys can see my screen. No. I hope everybody is seeing my screen.
Yeah.
Now it's visible.
You can see my screen, right? Okay. So let me open this document. This whole document I'm going to. Yeah. Tell me. So all document I'm going to share with you. So many interview questions, all frequently asked interview questions, and there's so many other documents. So I'm going to open this document, not this. You can see this document, Syslog device integration, right? This is document I'm going to open now. Okay, now you can see how to integrate Syslog means Linux device with Arcsight. First of all, check end-to-end connectivity from the connector server to the end device, which has to be integrated with Arcsight. We can verify the connectivity by pinging the device IP from the connector server. Yes. Port number 5 and 4 or port that we have configured on the Syslog connector during the installation, that should be open from the device to the connector server IP if there is a firewall in between. Yes. Already we have understood this step. Now next step is, once we have end-to-end connectivity, we need to follow the below process to configure the log forwarding from device to connector. Clear mind? Once we have this end-to-end connectivity and port number and everything, then we have to configure the end device to forward the logs, right? We have to find out which kind of syslog is running on particular Linux server, which log you are forwarding to the connector. That Linux server we have to check which syslog it is running to. There are 3 types of syslog. One of the following syslog might be available on your system, right? It is written syslog, but I made it PDF, but I forgot to mention syslog D actually. This is actually syslog D, not syslog. Syslog D, 𝐴𝐴/syslog or syslog NG. Correct? You mentioned that it is syslog D. Okay. So syslog D, 𝐴𝐴/syslog or syslog NG. Any of these 3 syslog might be running, right? So how to identify which syslog it is running, right? Then you run on the Linux as a root user. You log on the root user and run this command. From here to here, run this command. Will show which syslog is running, right? If you get the result like this, which syslog D written here, this kind of result you will get that, then it means the system is running syslog D, right? If this result is coming like this, because see 𝑟syslog it is written, right? In that case, there is an example of a system where it is running as 𝑟syslog. If result are coming like this kind of result, that means it is running as syslog NG. Get a point? Understand? Right? That means it's logging syslog NG. Now, how to configure? Now we identify which syslog is running. How to configure now? Now, depending on the syslog availability, follow one of the instructions below to find out the location of configuration file of syslog. Where is that file on which we have to configure the IP address port number protocol on the Linux, right? So, optional step if configuration file is not in a standard path. Generally, standard path under etc directory, you will see that file syslog.conf by default. In case it is not on default path, right? Then only you have to run this find command. Find means search. Somebody you kept, always you find it on the desktop. If it is not on the desktop, then you go on the search and enter the file name, right? Enter the document name on Windows. Similarly, in Linux, there is a find command to find anything, right? So you can run this find command and I can go to okay, it is under etc under syslog.com. That file is there under etc directory. Right? By default, under etc directory, always the file will be there. But in case you are not, you go on the etc directory, you did not find this file name, then in that case you will have to run this find command. Get a mind? Yes or no? Similarly for syslog, rsyslog, file name is rsyslog.conf. Right? Generally, it is also under etc directory only on the rsyslog server. For syslog ng, the file name is syslog_ng.conf. It will be again under etc under syslog ng, then syslog_ng.conf. Right? You identify the file location. Right? So if it is running syslog d, then what you have to do is you have to edit this file, syslog_conf file. You understand, right? For editing this file, which command we are using in Linux? Guys, who are not understanding Linux, no problem. This is the extra I am teaching you. That's not your job. That's a job of end device administrator. You just send this file to them. They will do the required configuration. Okay. 90% people of here do not have Linux understanding that I'm explaining you, but it is understandable, right? What I'm explaining you. But in case you have any issues, no problem. You can leave it. You just tell them. We'll share that command configuration steps to the end device Linux team. They will do the configuration. Okay. So now you can see syslog.conf. So now syslog.conf, just vi command is to to edit any file on the Linux, right? Run vi command and open the syslog.conf file, and on the syslog.conf file will be open like kind of notepad, right? You understand? Notepad kind of files are there on the Linux, right? Go on the last line, open syslog.conf file like this, and go on the last line and type asterisk dot space double @10.0.12.164. This is the connector server IP address. Okay, this will be our connector server IP address, and double this IP address. If it is 514 port number you have configured, no need to enter the port number. If it is other than 514, then you have to enter the port number here. Get a mind? Just make the entry last and save that file. In Windows, we click on save, right? But in the Linux, how we save the file? Anybody? How we save the file in the Linux?
Space QI or QT, something like that.
Escape colon WQ.
WQ, yeah.
Right?
Strings.
So to save the file, we have to run this command to save the file, right? The file will be exit. So you can see double @ If you have configured connector to listen on 515 and TCP protocol, then it should be double @. If you have configured on UDP protocol, then single @ you have to configure. @ denotes the protocol. Single @ means UDP, double @ means TCP, right? So you enter *** IP address. You last line you add this, and then colon WQ explanation, and then save that file, right? That's it. And then you restart the service. Go on the etc this init.d and try the command syslog restart. We have to restart syslog. Just type this command syslog restart, and now your device will start forwarding the loss to this particular connector server and on particular port number. Understand? Similarly, you can do for the rsyslog also, and edit the rsyslog.conf file st.asterisk, enter the IP address and colon port number. It is mandatory to enter port number, even though it is 514, it's still colon port number we have to enter and enter the service rsyslog. Similarly, you have to do for syslog ng as well. Okay, understand? Understood everybody, right? That's fine. Very straightforward, but somebody who has not Linux understanding, you may not understood. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, you can leave it because that's not a responsibility of yours. That's a responsibility of Linux. I have explained you the easiest way. This is very easiest way, but people who does not have Linux understanding, maybe you might not have understood. That's no problem. So now you can write that you have integrated Linux devices. So I will explain the step, right? You have to install syslog daemon connector, which is already installed. You can just check the port number protocol and log based document this document, how to configure the Linux device to further logs. Ensure connectivity in port number, right, before sending the document. So send it to them. They will configure the log forwarding and they will confirm that log forwarding has been applied. Now log in on the logger and ESM and check whether logs are coming or not. Do you mind? Very straightforward. Funda should be clear. Concept should be clear. Okay, concept clear? Everybody? Any confusion? Clear, right? So now what
So
yes.
if 514 is default and why you are entering that default port there?
It is required. It is for our syslog perspective, we have to enter the port number. On which port number we are configured. Why syslog D, we need not to enter the port number if it is 514. Right?
Okay, in the syslog D only we are not entering. In other two, we are entering the port number also.
We have to enter, yeah, we have to enter here. Only in syslog D we are not entering. Okay, that's the default configuration, how device is understanding. That's their configuration. Okay, got it?
Sir, can we do this in our lab?
We can do that. If you want me to do that, I can show you. If you want me to do that, I can show you one of the server. But I think server is down, or I'm not sure. Let me check it out. Because logger we have some problem, right? And any Linux server is up. Let me check. One Linux server is up, but I have not configured. A logger is up. So logger on this logger is up or not? Let me check. But that is also hosted on the Linux server, right? I can check this out. Logger तो up हो गया यार. तो receiver करा था. अभी तो working perfectly. Okay. Next connector I can say you how to configure logger also. Okay. So now logger also the Linux only, right? So how to configure this Linux server to forward the logs? I'm showing you here. Okay, quickly. So first of all, you can see it is written login as a root user. Login as a root user, right? Login as a root user and check which syslog it is running to, right? So I log in the root user on the logger. So we log in on the Linux row putty, right? With the IP address my, let me इसको थोड़ा सा मैं करता हूँ 192.168.0.19 root Arcsight. Okay, now I have logged in, right? Now I have run that command to check which syslog it is running to. So I'll copy that command. Copy. Okay. Now you can see in the result it is run as syslog, right? That means the result is coming like this. Second wala syslog, result is coming like this. Syslog T, right? That means my system is running syslog T, right? Now what I'll do is now I have to find it out this configuration file to check. Come here. This syslog.conf file, but generally let's what? Yes, I'm saying something. Okay, so find command and find it out syslog.conf. If it is not on default file, by default you'll see under etc under syslog.conf. So let me check it out. I will go on the etc and check that out. Okay, so to go any directory, I can click cd etc, right, and check ls command to check whether I have syslog.conf file or not. Syslog.conf file is syslog.conf file. Like you see, syslog.conf file is there. Yes or no? Right. So to check the configuration, check the detail, I can run the cat command to check what read only mode. I can open the notepad file read only mode cat command. I cannot change anything. If I want to change, I have to run the this command vi command, right? Cat command and writing syslog syslog.conf, right? Cat command. I will see configuration now. See, last time I have configured it already. So you can see from here it is started. This is started from. You can see I run the cat command from here, right? Right. This is the result of whole file. The file that we have just now opened, right? That is all are there inside. You can see now after opening that file, syslog.conf, you can see syslog.conf file, and enter st.restrict this particular configuration, right? So I have entered on the read-only mode as now. So at the end, you can see at the end I have to enter. So last time on the training I have done it. So I'll tell you st.restrict. I have entered the connector for IP address column port number, right? So I cannot add it from here right now because it's only read-only mode get command. So if I want to open, I have to enter the vi command, right? Right now it will be open on the written mode, means writing mode. I can come down and I cannot change. I have to shift I, right? Now I can change the port number, change the IP address. It was not there before, so I came down. It is written example. Take remote host. You can see IP address column port number. This is how we have to configure. Linux is giving us idea how to configure, right? Remote host is the name column port number, right? It is given st.restrict, right? It is given the example st.restrict remote, and what is there under hash after this is under hash, right? Hash means just read text file, right? So if you are to configure it, you have to remove the hash. Then I mentioned st.restrict at the rate IP address and file, because I have configured my connector on UDP protocol. That's the reason I have written single s at the rate IP to the connector colon port number, right? After configuring this, let's say already configured, then shift WQ, then okay. Then after configuration, we have to restart the syslog restart services, right? So this command we have to run syslog. So is the default start order all allowed, right? Is the default format that you use, right? Start order start. So now syslog restart. Not from here. I think from here it is not running. Syslog rslog restart. I think. Sorry, rsyslog. So is the service dot. This is not syslog D, right? This is rsyslog. Service name is service rsyslog.conf restart. So now service has been restarted, right? Now this particular device will start forwarding the logs to the connector. But connector we have not configured yet. Syslog connector, yes or no? So we have to install the syslog connector. So either I have already done it right here from here. But generally best practice is first of all install the connector, then you integrate devices. But we have done opposite. Yes or no? Because I just wanted to show you. So now once I install the connector, connector will start listening to the logs from this particular devices. So logs will start coming. Now we'll understand how to integrate syslog connector. Syslog daemon connector will be installing. You ready? Huh?
Sir, if that file will not available in that default folder, then how can we move that?
You find
Yes,
run the find command. You run the find command to find it out, right? Find name, this find command. Linux we use find command instead of search in Windows.
Okay. Then we can move that one in that particular default folder.
The service will be there. That's the service restart we have written, right? In case it is not running already, it will restart. Huh?
Okay. Means sir, it should be there in the default folder.
Enable service. What? Any question?
When that file should be there in that default folder. If it is not there, then we can move that. Correct.
Any folder it is there, this is fine. If you want to move, see, it is configuration, right? Any folder it is there, does not matter. Maybe under it is some more folder is there inside that file is there. By default, in the majority of popular Linux, it will be on the default folder. In case any Linux it is not in the default folder, whatever folder it is there, where there you do the change. No need to move the file. Okay, just run the find command to find out the file location. Go on that location, open that file, and do the configuration. Okay, good. Shall we go ahead and install the syslog daemon connector now? Okay, fine. Okay, so
device, right? On the device server, right?
On the on the what? On the device we have done, na? We have to configure end device to forward the logs. So we can configure connector detail to end device to forward the logs.
No, but when you started the putty, it was 119 logger.
No, actually what happens is I was not having separate Linux server.
Okay.
So logger is also hosted at Linux only. That's the reason I use logger server.
Okay.
Get in mind? So again, logger will also integrate because logger is also Linux, right? So Linux logs also should come on the SIEM in production also. You may integrate logger server also. But I was not having any separate Linux server. That's the reason I perform this activity on the logger server itself.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
Yeah. Let's install syslog connector. Log in the connector server.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Somebody is saying salam alaikum. कौन बोल रहा है? नियास बोला होगा शायद. नियास. ये देखो
ये भी पूछ लीजिए सर.
वो डिफरेंस यही है. This is the only difference while you have online training. Sometimes you ask a question which I already explained because you were talking to someone else that time when I explained. So that's the only problem while we have online training. People sometimes are not able to focus. Some other activities are happening. People sitting here are focusing on me. They are not at all using mobile. You guys are sometimes use mobile or check WhatsApp message also along with the training. That's the challenge. Okay. So let me open. Let me launch. What launch? लास्ट टाइम फिल्टर का हमने किया था इसको मैं पहले मैं इसको ओके लेट मी शो यू फर्स्ट yesterday we installed windows connector, right? So we configure one destination as manager. Now I'm showing you how to configure another destination as logger. Okay, logger is up now. Then we install syslog daemon connector. Okay, so select one destination, go on the select another destination logger, next destination is logger. Click on next. Now you have to enter the logger IP address, port number 443 by default, as well as receiver name. So receiver we have to create on the logger first. We have to log in on the logger, create a receiver, and give this receiver name. Here we don't have to enter username and password of manager like manager we have integrated yesterday, right? Guys, check the recording twice. That's the reason I'm saying the recording once we start the practicals. Any confusion? Watch the recording twice. You have a full week. But ensure that whatever I'm teaching you, everything you know. What is thrice? Watch it thrice. But clear the concept. Okay, so I have to enter logger IP address. So logger IP 192.168.0.119. Port number is 43. But receiver name, how I'll get the receiver name? So in that case, I have to log in the logger. So logger already log in, right? Go on the configuration and go on the receivers. Under receiver, you can see, click on add receiver. And let's say Windows, I'm giving the name as Windows only. Windows, any name I can give. Windows integrated, right? So only I have one Windows connector as now. Logger, let's say Riyadh server also you have one Windows connector. And you have Bangalore also one Windows connector. You have New York also. So give the name. If you give only Windows, it will be difficult for you to identify which window it is. New York, Riyadh or what, right? So give the identification name because every connector you have to create one receiver. Every connector, 3 Windows connector you have, right, for 3 locations. For all 3 you have to create a separate receiver. So give the exact name. Let's say this is Riyadh. So I have given Windows Riyadh. Okay. I'll copy this and click on next and click on save. Okay. You can see Windows Riyadh receiver has been created. Same receiver name out. Now whenever you see the logs on the logger, right, it will come with the name of receiver. Particular connector name will be coming as name of receiver name. Okay. So I'm giving the name now. Receiver.
So what does source type means? Source type, the CEF is there. What does it means?
What, where?
What is source type?
Where it is source type? Where?
Yeah, go back just before one step.
That is the common
in the logger?
format, file format.
Yeah, in the logger. Yeah, while configuring,
The connector.
we have
connector,
an option.
The
Yeah.
connector. Connector.
On the connector. On the connector configuration.
Yeah.
No.
Huh.
In your logger, while
Receiver. In the
configuring
receiver you did, no? CEF.
Yeah. Yeah, source type is.
Only CEF it is correct is common event format. You select only common event. Unnecessarily it has given because there is no other option you have, right? Unnecessarily it is given CEF and common event format. The log which are coming CEF format logs will come. Okay. Okay. So now you can see I have configured the same type of this one receiver name. Click on next. Now it will import the, click on next, it will import a certificate. Now registering this connected to the logger, and now import the certificate to encrypt the channel, right? You have the option do not encrypt, it will not hold the certificate. So it should be always encrypted. So you have to click on import certificate. Click on import. So what we are doing here, we are configuring destination logger. Connector will connect the logger and send it to the logger also. Yesterday we have configured ESM. Now we have configured dual destination. One is logger, one is ESM. Can you mind? Automatically we configured already, right? Automatically once connector will see the log, it will make 2 copies of the logs. One is logger, one is ESM. Can you mind? Automatically it will happen. Then connector to logger, logger to ESM. Only one destination you have to do the connector. Connector only logger. Then log in the logger and configure destination as ESM. You can see it here. The logger configuration, you can see ESM destination. You can see ESM destination. So here you have to go and you have to give the ESM detail. I have not done anything. I don't really happen. I was not having time actually. We have session in the evening also 3 hours. So I was occupied. So I did not. I thought like I will have to show you next week. But this week I'll fix it. But automatically it got fixed. Having some performance issues it seems. So automatically it has fixed. I think there might be problem because what happens is some issues happen because in the Splunk going on, right? So I had installed universal forwarder on the logger server only, and permission got changed. So universal forwarder install, it has to create one account, a Splunk account, and same directory it has to be installed. OPT directory I install logger also, OPT directory universal forwarder also. So permission got changed. Now OPT directory, Splunk user got the permission from OPT directory, and this logger user is Arcsight. So Arcsight user were not having permission. So that's the reason I was facing challenges here. So now I removed universal forwarder yesterday. So that might be the reason it got fixed. Okay. Now click on next and configure the ESM detail. ESM detail to configure the linear architecture. Okay. So now you can see connector contain logger and all. Click on next. Now it has been configured. Click on exit. Now I can see on the login of the logger, and might be seeing that log started coming. You see window real connector, right? You can see this receiver started log coming. I can click it here and I can see the logs. Right now I can see device vendor, device address is equal to 192.168.0.125. 125 is integrated right with connector. Let me check whether we have any event or not. So this event came. Connector we have integrated this device, right? So connector yesterday we integrated right 125 server. Yes or no? With connector 125 Windows server we integrated yesterday, right? Means connector was collecting the logs. Now we have configured connector to forward the logs to logger also. Just because we have configured, now I enter device address equal to IP address of the end device and logs are coming. That means this connector to logger integration is also successful, and we are getting the logs from end device, which will be integrated with Windows connector, right? You will see it here. This is how we have to verify device address equal to IP address of the end device. Right? So now I'll show you how to install the Syslog connector. Okay. Device Syslog we already integrated. Now we install. So how we have installed now? Same connector setup file. Again you have to launch. Yes or no? For all connector one setup file, right? So just write it. Run as administrator. Can you take full day class today? 6 hours. I taken 8 hours class before. What happens is I used to take only weekends, and we used to finish Arcsight within a month. Within a month only. I had to, because I was working that time. So I was not having other batches. I have to only one batch, weekend batch. At any cost, I had to finish it within a month. Sometimes you ask more queries.
Your voice is very low.
My voice is very low, no? So don't be.
Good for me. It's good for me.
नहीं good. It should be good. Recording में slow आता voice. थोड़ा तेज कर लिया करो.
Good for me also.
हाँ माइक का थोड़ा सा कुछ चेंज करना है, कुछ दूसरा माइक लेके आना है.
It is audible here.
Mic.
Yeah, it's audible and it's good. Voice quality
Your
is good.
voice is very low.
Clearly audible.
Try to speak loudly.
I think
Or
Gene,
check your
I think for you it is not clear, but other people are saying it's very clear. Other people is saying it's very clear, huh? So what I'm saying is, what I was saying, I was saying that weekend when I used to work, right, previously, 4 years back. So before I used to take a new weekend class, and full Arcsight and basics and everything I used to cover in 1 month only, because next month I have another batch. Sometimes you take 8-hour class also. Saturday you come, you go for lunch also from here only, and you come again after lunch. We'll join after from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. 8 hours class you have to take to finish the topic. But now many topics I have added, and many things I'm elaborating more compared to previous classes. That's the reason number of days have been increased. Some people are talking that class is going very slow, getting time, right? Because little things I'm explaining, right? Nobody will explain the little concept. Some people does not know the basic concept also. So I have to explain them the basic concept as well. That's the reason the number of days has been increased. So where is the connector now? So we'll launch the connector, click on next. Now we have to select the path, right? So now I'm installing a default path, Arcsight connector path already created. Go here, under C drive, under Arcsight connector. Now I have to give the connector name. So I'll give, let's say Syslog. So let's say I might have multiple Syslog connector, right? I might have multiple Syslog connector. Some devices, let's say Cisco ASA also supporting Syslog daemon, and router also Syslog daemon, Linux also Syslog daemon. Maybe I have installed 2-3 connectors, right? So I can give Syslog. Let's say this connector I am installing on port number 514. So I can give Syslog 514. So it will be easy for me also to understand what is Syslog 514 connector. It is Syslog 514. Based on the port number, or many people are using, giving this kind of naming convention. It's easy for them. Right? So give Syslog 514. Next. Very straightforward. Yes or no? While you install the system, you'll get an error message saying that this system is not a supported one, right? Do you still want to go ahead? You have to click on yes. Okay. It's like I told in the morning also, somebody just now pinged me the screenshot saying that Windows 10 is not supported. We already know that it is not supported. Any desktop is not supporting workstation, right? You got an error, you click on yes. Somebody pinged me half an hour back from our batch. Windows 10 is not supported. I'll discuss in the morning only when I came. It is not supported. Alright, so add a connector now. And add a connector, right? We have to search Syslog daemon connector, right? Syslog daemon connector, select. See? So this is Symantec Endpoint Protection DB, chapter connector, Symantec Data Center, Symantec Antivirus Corporation Limited, Antivirus Corporation addition file. You can see different connector for all these different. These are dedicated Syslog daemon. You can see the dedicated Syslog connector. These are right. So we have to select now common connector, default connect Syslog daemon. Yes or no? Select Syslog daemon. You can see port number is default. If you initialize some other port, change the port number. IP address all means it can receive the log from all the devices. If you want only specific devices, it should be able to receive, then define the IP address. By default, keep it all. Okay. Protocol you can see UDP TCP. I am keeping it UDP. This is keep as default. Okay. Click on next now. Port number, protocol. You have defined. Click on now. Click on next. Now same thing. Destination. In Windows, it will ask you to integrate devices. Instead of defining port and protocol on Windows, we have to enter device that we want to pull the logs. We want to configure, right? Windows work on pull mechanism, so we have to define the device on which it has to go and pull the logs. But Windows Syslog works on push mechanism. We just configure port number protocol on listening board. Yes or no? No need to configure the end devices because Syslog does not work on pull mechanism. We configure port number protocol and IP address of the system server, connector server, and device will itself push the logs, right? So now we have to configure the destination ESM. So configure the ESM now. That's it. ISM this one host name I have to configure, right? Yesterday, this is the host name. Host name. Okay, host name this one. Username, admin, password, Arcsight. Okay, click on next. Now I have to give them a connector name. The syslog.514 I have given the installation for my system, right? But here the name I'll give, same name will be reflecting on the ESM. Get it mind? So I can location I'll give the Bangalore. That location I've given Riyadh location, right? Let's say this is also Riyadh. So Riyadh mein only I have syslog 514. Okay, syslog 514 I'll give. Syslog. Because Riyadh location also I have multiple connector, right? So 514 I'm giving syslog 514 and location Riyadh. गलत हो गई spelling. And location here. Click on next. Now it will register the destination and import the certificate on the next step. Import certificate. Click on import. Now it will import and it will register here. Okay. Now in some time you will see the connector will register here. You can see connector status is running. This connector is running. You can see this connector status. Bangalore, letter connector. This is down. This is running. You can see the status also which connector is running. Which connector is down. Okay. So now it is being registered. Once registered, you can see the Riyadh connector syslog 514 connector here. Okay. Showing us down as of now. Why it is showing us down? Why this connector is showing us down? Why it is not showing us running? What?
We have to make changes on the services part.
Services, right? So service install भी नहीं किया service. Next, click on next. Now we have to install as a service or standalone. You understand? We have to install as a service. This is service. This is so you have to ensure that if you are having multiple syslog connector, right? You have to change the service name because same service name should not happen. Otherwise, it will get clear the conflict. You will not be able to install. If you are installing more than one syslog connector, you have to change the service name. Get it right? Some customized service name you give. Otherwise, it will not be installed. So by default, I'm installing, so I'm not changing the service name. Okay, click on next. Service will start automatically. Yes, but first time you have to start manually. Next time onward, it will start automatically. Click on next. Some issues. Issue has been encountered configuring the smart connector to run a service. Check agent.log file. Some issues are coming. Might be I have installed one connector and not you know. I came to know why this error is. You know why? Because I think I have already used one port number. 514 port number I have already used. I have installed Unisys folder, Splunk Unisys folder on the same. I think let me check. Splunk. Now I check. No, folder. Complete service. Agent.log run a service. An issue has been configuring the agent.log service. What is the issue? I'll have to check on the agent.logs. I'll tell you one troubleshooting step how to troubleshoot the issues. Please remove the service before changing the configuration. Please. Exist with our unable to generate a file. The configuring file already exists. Please remove the service before changing the configuration. वही बता रहा है ये. Configuring file is already exist. Please remove the configuration. Problem क्या है कि now I have to remove the from the registry. Maybe I have installed one connector and I have not installed it properly the right way. Hence, there is a conflict on the services. In that case, I'll have to remove the services and restart the server. The server I cannot restart. So what I'm doing is for you right now, I am installing one connector on the jump server instead of the server. Okay, you'll see it, and I'll fix this problem of my server because it required to server to restart. If you're manually removing the registry entries, service from registry, in that case you have to restart the server. So 24/5 server that you guys will get the access. So I'm installing that connector, Syslog daemon connector on that server. I think one connector is already installed. I will have to remove that one also. Let me check. I'll check that error, why it is error coming, because we can install multiple connectors with a different port with a different service name. ये कौन क्रिएट कर दिया यार? सी ड्राइव इसने पास दे दिया कनेक्टर का, पूरा सी ड्राइव भर गया. Somebody has installed the connector on the server and given the path, पूरा सी ड्राइव फुल हो गया इसका. ड्राइव फोल्डर कहाँ चले गए? ये ऐसे कुछ करते रहते लोग. Syslog में ऑलरेडी इंस्टॉल है, तो मुझे इसको अनइंस्टॉल करके मैं दिखाता हूँ. मैं इसको clear uninstall it. So now you understand how to uninstall the connector. Okay, this Syslog connector I want to uninstall 5.4. I want to uninstall this connector. How to uninstall it? I'm showing you. First of all, you have to install the services. So go on the services. I have shared you the document also how to uninstall the connector. So go on the services first. First of all, you have to install the services. Okay. Go on the services. You can see the respective service. You can see You can see this service Arcsight Syslog daemon is running right now. Right click and stop it. Stopped. Stopping. स्लो है बहुत. Stopped. Right now I have to relaunch the connector. Go on the how we can relaunch the current. Then bin. Then run engine setup. Click on administrator. There you will get the remove uninstall service option. Pure. इनको क्या किया है? Okay. Now you have to click at uninstall service. Right. First of all, install the service. Then click on uninstall service. Uninstall service. Click on next. Click on exit. Now service has been removed. You can see it here. Go on the services and you can see refresh and see this service will be removed. Gone. Right. Now you have to go on the current file. The file name uninstaller data. You have to run this application file. You can see application and that file. This is a proper process of installing. If you uninstall before stopping services or starting service, uninstalling services, it will be uninstalled, but service will not be removed. So that is not the proper uninstallation mechanism. Okay, click on here. Okay. Now you can see the files also is removed. All file has been removed. So now you can see here, right click and uninstall, remove. Sometimes that folder may not be removed because some files are running on the background. So immediately it will not be removed. So you can wait for some time. So it will be removed now. You can install now. Now this connector, I will double click, right click and OK, and open this. Now we'll install it here. Syslog 5 and 5 तो वहाँ register भी हो गया था यार. I have to, in that case, I can remove this. ये कौन सा है सर्वर? ये इंस्टॉल हो गया यार इसमें तो. ये कैसे इंस्टॉल हो गया अभी? कॉन्फ्लिक्ट था. देखो जैसा सर्विस आया था. इसमें तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट था ना. Now it is also got installed now. It has been installed. I think because of the service name only. I can different service name. Some क्या हुआ था? I don't know. It has been installed now. Service also created. So this connected service started running. Can you mind? Page 25 server only. Right? Now you can see it started running. So what was the problem that time? Well, there was problem. Please remove service before changing the configuration. So now I can check on the logs. It is 124 server. Okay, I was installing 125 only now. Now when I have problem on this connector, then I install 125. But this itself has started running now. Okay. So now basically, so this is how we can, we have installed the Syslog connector, right? Just configure the port number protocol, and we have configure as a, this as a destination. If I want to configure logger as a destination, I can again go here and launch this connector. Go open the bin, launch it, and configure logger also. Can relaunch it and configure logger also as a destination. So this connector will forward the logs to the logger and ESM as well. Modify destination parameters, add remove destination, and here add destination as logger. In that case, I have to create IP 192.168.0.119. Receiver name, log in the receiver logger now, and create a receiver. Go on the configuration, go on the receiver. So I can give receiver name Syslog 514. Okay. Riyadh. Syslog 514 Riyadh. Give next. Click on next. It import a certificate. Register destination and import the certificate. Import certificate. When it is imported, we will see that it will also logs will start coming. But maybe possible that the particular Linux device is not very active, right? Maybe we will not have log as of now on that one. So everybody is registering as of now. क्या नहीं सेव हुआ था? आपने सेव नहीं किया। सेव किया होगा ना? नहीं किया? नहीं किया। सेव तो किया होगा। ये तो था। सेव तो किया है ना? लास्ट में जो ऑप्शन है उसमें सेव नहीं था। नहीं किया होगा तो ये, अरे हाँ यार, ये हाँ यार, रेड लाइन आ रहा है, क्यों आ रहा है? अब चालू नहीं हुआ था, अब चालू हो गया। हाँ, इनेबल नहीं हुआ था वो, अभी इनेबल हुआ, अभी इंपोर्ट होगा, यूज करना पड़ेगा अभी। वो इनेबल नहीं था, वो डिसेबल हो गया था। Now it will work or not? Who all have done the quality certification? Who all have completed the quality certification? Quality नहीं है, vulnerability management quality का certification. Who all have completed? Why? Why not completed? I'm asking from everyone, not only offline people, online people also. Who all have completed quality certification? क्या नहीं आया? क्यों नहीं आया? सर्टिफिकेशन आता है, तुरंत जनरेट होता है मेरे ख्याल से। तो
going through it.
हाँ?
Yeah, we are going. I'm going through it also.
Okay, other people. Okay, so it has been configured now. In some time, it will, if logs are coming, then it will show you the logs here, right? So now we have, for today, we have discussed about Syslog device integration, and we understand the the Linux integration. Funda is clear, right? We understand, we did it also, Linux integration. Now the next class we'll be talking about how to integrate any kind of device. I will take an example. I have to integrate Cisco ASA firewall. We'll do it practically. How to download a document, how to check it supported or not, how to download a document, read the document, all the things it contains, right? And what kind of permission has to be done on device. Any random device we'll take, right? And we'll check how to configure it. So your concept will be clear. Any device should be able to. Then I'll give the homework. Check any device, whatever device coming in on your mind, right? Check whether it's supported or not. Download the document and follow the step. Get your point? So that you should be able to integrate any kind of device. Then I'll tell you 5-6 devices that you can check how it is being integrated, so that you can write in the Zoom that you have integrated checkpoint firewall, you have integrated FortiGate firewall, Cisco firewall, you have integrated low-code proxy, you have integrated Cisco email gateway, right? Those kind of devices you can mention in resume. It will increase the weightage in resume that you have competencies on integration of devices. Correct? So in the next class, we'll be talking about other device integration as well as how to troubleshoot, connector troubleshooting and device troubleshooting. Right? In case connectors, all connectors are down on the connector server, what troubleshooting we have to do. One connector is down on particular connector server, what troubleshooting you do. Connector is not forwarding the logs, device is not forwarding the logs, right? Those kind of log stoppage issues, connector issues we'll be talking about. We understand how we'll understand how to increase the memory, how to check memory utilization, how to check if connector is catching, right? All those things we'll be discussing in the next class. Next class will be last class for the connector. Then we'll start with the ESM. Most probably next class on the Saturday only we'll start with the ESM. Okay, got it? Anybody any confusion? No? Okay, on the same page.
That live access.
Once we start the ESM. Once we start the ESM, you'll get the live access. Okay. So guys, thank you for joining. See you on Saturday now.